All right, so let's get right into it. You've climbed that technical ladder, you're the expert, and now you're an information security manager. First off, congrats. But you've probably already figured out that the skills that got you here, yeah, they aren't the same ones that are going to make you succeed now. We're talking about a whole new ballgame.
So let me ask you something. What's the hardest part of the job? Really think about it. Is it trying to justify the budget for that shiny new EDR solution? Or maybe it's keeping your best analyst from jumping ship for a huge offer. Or, and this is a big one, is it dealing with the political mess after a failed audit?
Well, here's the thing, and it might not be what you expect. The toughest challenges, they're not technical at all. Nope, it all comes down to people, politics, and persuasion. The hardest part is winning that non-technical game. And that, right there, is exactly what this playbook is all about.
Okay, play number 1. You've got to master the map. Look, before you make a single move, you have to understand the lay of the land. And let's be real, whether we like it or not, management is political. Your ability to actually get things done hinges on knowing how to navigate your organization.
So every journey needs a map, right? And your official map is the org chart. But please, don't just glance at it. You need to study this thing. Seriously, who controls the money for that project you want? Who are the VPs your colleagues report up to? These aren't just names in boxes, you know? They're the official pathways you have to go through to get resources and get that all-important yes.
But here's the thing, and this is where so many new managers get tripped up. They live and die by that org chart, but that's just, well, it's only half the story. The real power, the actual influence that makes stuff happen, that flows through channels that you won't find on any chart.
And that brings us to the real heart of this first play, understanding the difference between formal power and informal power. See, formal power is your title. It's what's given to you. But informal power, that's what you earn. It's built on influence, respect, and relationships. And that hidden network, that's how things really get done.
Now, this isn't some fuzzy, abstract idea. We're talking about real people. It's that senior architect who everyone knows has the CTO's ear, right? It could even be someone on your team who, I don't know, is married to the CFO. Your job is to figure out who these key influencers are.
So your first mission, it's not to roll out some new tech. It's to build bridges. Seriously, take your peers out for coffee. Get to know them as people. Because in our world, you never, ever know when you're going to need a friend in another department. Those relationships, they're your most crucial currency.
Okay, so that leads us right into our next play. Once you know who the players are, you've got to know how to talk to them. And that's what play number 2 is all about. Speak the language. We're talking about the language of the business, not the language of the server room.
Think about it. When you're asking leadership for money or support for a new security project, you can't just throw tech specs at them. You have to build a solid business case. How is this going to help the company make money, or save money, or reduce risk? And just as important, how are we going to measure success? You've got to frame everything in terms they get.
In this quote, this is everything. This is the absolute key to this entire play. Look, your senior leaders, they don't care about the nitty-gritty of a DDoS attack. They just don't. But what they absolutely care about is the website being down, retail stores not being able to process sales, and how much revenue we're losing per hour. You have to translate the tech threat into business impact. That is the language they speak.
Okay, so you know what to say now. But what about how and when you say it? Because knowing the message is only half the battle. Getting it delivered effectively, that's a whole other skill set. It means you have to understand the unwritten rules of communication in your company. You know, is this the kind of place where a quick chat in the hallway with a VP is cool, or is that a huge no-no? You've got to know the culture. And here's a little secret weapon for you, maybe the best-kept secret in corporate life. Make friends with the administrative professionals. Seriously, they run the calendars. They know who's available and when. They are the gatekeepers, and they are your key to getting that 15 minutes you desperately need.
All right, on to our third and final play, show your work. So, you've mapped the organization, you're speaking their language. Now you've got to prove that what you're doing is actually making a difference. And how do you do that? With data.
But wait, not just any data. We are drowning in technical data, right? Logs from firewalls, servers, everything. That stuff tells you what happened. But what your boss and the auditors really care about is process data. And that's different. That's the evidence that proves the security work got done in the first place. So what does this process data actually look like? Well, it's the documentation that shows you tested the data backups and it worked. It's the record of your regular user account reviews. It's the saved results from your vulnerability scans. It's the paper trail, the proof that shows your security controls are actually working day in and day out.
And you know what the best part is? You don't need some huge, complex, expensive system for this. Honestly, it can be as simple as a shared spreadsheet. The key isn't the tool. It's being consistent and making sure you have that audit trail.
I mean, look at this. This is a perfect example. It's so simple, but it is incredibly powerful. An auditor or your boss can glance at this and see in seconds that yes, the user account reviews are happening. They can see who did it, when they did it, and what they found. This little log is your verifiable proof that you're doing the job.
So let's bring this all together. These 3 plays, master the map, speak the language, and show your work, they aren't just 3 separate ideas. They're a complete, connected strategy. It's a strategy to transform you from just a technical manager into a real security leader.
And that's the big mindset shift, right? It's about moving away from being the department of no. That's not what we want. When you use this playbook, you become a strategic partner, someone who helps the business reach its goals, just, securely. So just remember the playbook. 1, build your network by figuring out how things really work. 2, build your business case by talking about value, not just tech. And 3, build your proof with simple data that shows you're getting the job done. Look, mastering these plays is what takes you from being reactive, just responding to incidents, to being proactive and actually influencing the business. You stop being a firefighter and you start being an architect of strategy.
And really, that's the question it all comes down to. This is about elevating your role beyond just managing tech. It's about driving real business value. So, are you going to just manage security? Or are you going to use this playbook to lead?